Well, teaching is a true joy for me, and I think I find a lot of joy in helping students to discover the joy of law. Law can look really technical and dry, and a lot of students are doing my papers because they have to, they're compulsory, or they think they have to because they're really important areas of law. So to see them start to appreciate the study of law of itself, not just as a means to an end, is something I find really enjoyable. Imposter syndrome is when we feel that we don't belong, that we're an imposter, that someone let us in by mistake. And lecturers can feel that way just as much as students can, but it can be a very lonely and isolating thing. So just by acknowledging to the students that it's a really common feeling and that it's something that I myself have experience with, we can try to open up a learning environment that is safe and one of confidence, and one where students kind of understand that we're in this together, it's a collaborative process, teaching and learning, and that we as faculty and me as their lecturer, we're there to support them in any way that we can with those learning challenges.
Anna really understands her students and understands that the content can be quite hard, but she makes it really digestible and really easy to understand. She'll speak super clearly and slowly and highlight the key and difficult points, and she also uses diagrams and flowcharts, which make it really easy to answer questions rather than just learning the content in a bubble.
She reflects as well at the beginning, often at the end of her classes and during her courses, on the difficulty of the subject matter, to make students feel that if they are finding it difficult, that it's not them. Even experienced lawyers can find these concepts difficult, and this gives them the capacity to achieve to their optimum.
In my experience, students can't learn effectively, they can't take on the information if they're feeling overwhelmed, anxious and stressed. So if I notice those things going on in the classroom, it's really important that I acknowledge it and also try to provide some tools for the students to move through those feelings.
Well, I think it's the combination of the structure of her classes and the pace of the teaching and of the introduction of different concepts, and the meditational exercise that she conducts at half time effectively in her classes that refocuses students' attention and permits them to concentrate better through the latter part of the class. And having prepared the ground in this way, she's able to use challenging concepts and subject matter in a way that is successful and doesn't increase the tension in the class.
So mindfulness is something I use in the classroom as an optional tool for students. Through meditation and breath work, we can allow students to have a little bit of space between the stresses and the distractions that they're experiencing when they learn and the material that we're going through.
And it's one thing for us to be aware of the stressful environment that students are in, especially during the COVID years. But it's another thing to have the courage to innovate and use practical measures to address those anxieties as a way of increasing students' performance and confidence in their own abilities.
So in the lecture, we'd take a break in the middle of class to do a short guided meditation with Anna, where we'd just stop, close our eyes, do some breathing, and then come back to the lecture refocused and more attentive than before. I've really utilised taking these short little brain breaks, just even in the form of stopping and stepping away from my work to go and get a coffee, and then being able to come back and do more effective study after.
She's shown the possibility of taking practical steps to address student anxieties in these difficult times, and also focus staff's attention on their own mental health and mental well-being. Her innovations have been like a sign or a signal to us to focus carefully on practical measures that can be taken, and therefore to enhance our optimism about addressing these matters.
So a lot of my students have taken mindfulness not only as a way to improve their focus and their resilience within the classroom, but also they've started to incorporate it into their daily lives.